Okay, so picture this. It's 1846, Charleston, South Carolina. We're inside this grand mansion, the Caldwell mansion. And the summer air, it isn't just heavy with humidity. No, it's thick with this dangerous, unspoken tension. It's a silence that is about to be completely shattered by tragedy. Yeah, this wasn't a peaceful kind of quiet, not at all. It was more like that charged, electric feeling right before a huge storm hits. And it was all being fueled by four sisters, locked in a secret, vicious competition. I mean, in a world that gave them very few outlets for their ambition and passion, their rivalry just festered in the shadows, and it was now ready to claim its very first victim. So, the crisis, it doesn't begin with a scream. It begins with an absence. The family matriarch, Mrs. Caldwell, wakes up to find that one of her daughters, Clara, is missing. Panic sets in, of course, and her frantic search is about to uncover something far more terrifying than she could ever imagine. In Clara's pantry, of all places, Mrs. Caldwell's hand just happens to brush against a loose floorboard, and beneath it, a whole stack of letters. And these aren't just clues. Oh no, they are confessions, they are threats, and they are declarations of a forbidden obsession that has poisoned her entire family. So what was this obsession that was tearing the Caldwell house apart? Well, to really understand the tragedy, we first need to understand the players in this devastating and very private game. The four Caldwell sisters, they were each a world unto themselves. You had Eleanor, the stern, pious eldest. There was Beatrice, the theatrical artist. Clara, the quiet, watchful one. And then finally Dewey, the beautiful, spoiled baby of the family. Four totally different women, all fixated on the exact same person. And that person was Elijah, the family's enslaved steward. Now, you have to understand, in the rigid social hierarchy of 1840s Charleston, any kind of desire for him by these white women, it was social dynamite. He was this man of quiet dignity, caught right in the middle of a lethal rivalry he absolutely could not control, where any response, any gesture, could literally cost him his life. So, since they couldn't speak their desires out loud, the sisters turned to the only outlet they had, paper and ink. What started as just silent glances soon escalated into a full-blown, secret war that was waged through a series of increasingly desperate and dangerous letters. Each hiding place was really a reflection of that sister's strategy. Pious Eleanor, she tucked her sinful notes inside the family Bible. How ironic is that? Dramatic Beatrice used a pot that once held a dying rose. And then there's bold, reckless Dolly, who slipped her demands directly into the lining of Elijah's coat, an act of incredible risk and intimacy. The letters themselves, they really reveal the battle lines. On one side, you've got Eleanor offering this kind of twisted salvation, a promise of spiritual protection from her sinful sisters. And on the other side, Doy wasn't making any pretenses like that. Her notes were short, sharp demands for attention and for pleasure. It was a war between virtue and carnality, with Elijah trapped right in the crossfire. But this was never just about winning his affection. The rivalry soured, and it soured fast, turning into outright hostility between the sisters. As this really chilling note from Doy shows, the letters became weapons. They turned from declarations of desire into threats of blackmail, using accusations against each other to try and control Elijah. The stakes were rising, and the consequences were about to become deadly. You know, it was really only a matter of time before this written war spilled over into the real world. The constant paranoia and the escalating threats had created a total powder keg in the Caldwell mansion. And Dory, the youngest sister, well, she was the one who was about to strike the match. Dory takes things to a terrifying new level. After raiding her sister's hiding spots, she finds Beatrice's most dramatic letter, one filled with fantasies about running away with Elijah. Now, in 1846 Charleston, a letter like that wasn't just scandalous. It was a potential death sentence. So Dory uses it to blackmail Elijah, demanding he meet her in secret, or she'll expose them all. And everything just culminates on this single, horrific night. Clara, the quiet observer, she sees Doy's blackmail note and she understands the danger. She rushes to the well to intercept the meeting. But instead of Elijah, she finds Doy. They argue. Accusations start flying. And in a flash of fury, Doy shoves her sister. Clara stumbles. Her head strikes the stone lip of the well, and she disappears into the darkness. Doy's shock, it instantly turns to this cold, terrifying calculation. When Elijah arrives for the blackmailed meeting just moments later, she's already composed. She immediately crafts a lie, painting Clara's death as this tragic suicide over unrequited love for him. In one single move, she frames her dead sister and makes Elijah the cause. But Doy's story? It has a problem. Her mother. Armed with the letters she found under that floorboard, Mrs. Caldwell knows this was no suicide, so she launches her own chilling investigation, not to find justice for her dead daughter, but to save her family's name from total and complete ruin. Mrs. Caldwell goes to the well herself. The official story is going to be a tragic accident, but the ground, it tells a different tale. There are scuff marks, signs of a struggle, and then she finds it, a single pearl button, a perfect match to the ones on Doy's dressing gown. It's the first piece of hard evidence that proves Doy was there and that she was lying. The final piece of the puzzle comes from the only other witness. When she's pressed by Mrs. Caldwell, Elijah tells her the truth. He describes Doy's strange composure, her lack of genuine grief. His testimony is just damning. She wasn't a shocked witness. She was an actor rehearsing a story, a performance designed to cover up a murder. So now, armed with the letters, the button, and Elijah's testimony, Mrs. Caldwell confronts Doy. And that carefully constructed facade, it just shatters. Panicked and cornered, Doy confesses. But her confession, it isn't born of remorse for her sister's death. No, it's from the pure, selfish terror of being exposed. A confession presents Mrs. Caldwell with an impossible choice. I mean, think about it. Going to the police would expose the letters, the whole scandal, and destroy the family. So she delivers her own verdict. There will be no trial. Dorothy's punishment will be a life sentence of guilt, lived under her mother's watchful, and you can bet, unforgiving eye. The cover-up is swift, and it is brutal. Before the sun even rises, Elijah, the living evidence, is sold south, completely erased from their lives forever. A month later, Clara is buried under the false narrative of a heartbroken suicide. Within a year, the remaining rivals, Beatrice and Doy, they're married off and exiled from Charleston. And Elena, she's left to punish herself, a stern spinster in a silent, empty house. And finally, the letters that started it all, the physical proof of their secret war, are taken to the parlor fireplace. Mrs. Caldwell watches as years of obsession, jealousy, and murder all turn to smoke and ash, erasing the crime for good. In the end, Mrs. Caldwell succeeded. The Caldwell name remained pristine, a monument of respectability in Charleston society. But that respectability, it was built on a foundation of murder, lies, and the ashes of forbidden letters. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What is the true price of protecting a reputation when the truth is this deadly?